Here's my full resume tutorial. This is a very in-depth tutorial where I'm going to show you how to make an absolutely fire resume. So I have my resume loaded up right now, as you can see, and what I'm going to do is go through everything and show you in depth all these different pro tips and what you should do on your resume. I will say, one, I have my resume, this kind of template if you want to use, listed below in the description for a completely free download. It's not like one of those things where I'm like, hey, subscribe to my YouTube channel and Instagram to download it. No, there's no download gate. You can just download it completely for free. The second thing is I've done resume work for accounting firms, on behalf of Microsoft, for a lot of other companies. So I know a lot about resumes. And like I said, in this video, it's gonna be a very casual video where, like say me and you are hanging out and you're like, hey man, can you give me some pro tips about my resume? Or what should I do on my resume, right? So let's get into it. Now, first off, I'm gonna stress this type of resume, getting into the nitty gritty now, works about, I'd say 90% of situations. The reason why is there are some one-off jobs, I'm not say one-off, but certain other industries that your resume should look a bit different. For example, graphic design, I know is one of them where the resume itself is kind of like, it's like a meta resume that this would not work. Like say if you're hiring, or excuse me, if you're trying to get a job at, like say, a graphic design firm, because they want the resume to look maybe very more unique or have a lot of like artistic value to it. This is going to be kind of your cookie cutter resume for 90% of jobs you are applying to. First things first, you want your name to be big and bold. This is very important. Some of this may seem simple to you, but you'd be surprised. I reviewed hundreds, maybe over 1,000 resumes. A lot of people screw this up. The first part of your resume, you can see right here. What if I could turn the cursor off? That's kind of annoying. You know, I'm gonna put the cursor down here, and then we'll go back up. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. Okay, so let me bring this back here. Okay, so first things first, you want your name big and bold. They should be able to see your name right away. Telephone and email. I know some people like to put maybe their address and everything. I feel like for this day and age, telephone and email is really all you need. So it should look like this. Next, I'm going to talk about an objective. I personally don't do that, but if you're very, very pigeonholed, you could put an objective. What that is between here and education, which we'll talk about in a second, you put like a mini paragraph of what you are, who you're about. Think of it almost like a very, 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 very mini elevator pitch or cover letter, right? Where you put a mini paragraph, and let's say you're a computer programmer. You say, computer programmer of 5 years, specializes in Python and Java. I'm looking to do this, this, and this. Here's some of my qualities. You can do that. And I think that if you're going for a very specific job, let's say you're like, I want to be doing computer programming for Python specifically, I think that can help you. But also, I think, let's say if you're just applying to as many jobs as you can, especially in some different fields, I typically don't have an objective, right? I will also say, might as well say as a third side note, you can see maybe down here in terms of work experience, I haven't had a real job in, almost a decade now. And so I just have YouTube here as a placeholder, just in case someone asks for my resume. Might as well say that, right, in case you notice that first. But now let's go down to education. This is super important. You want to have, if you notice, everything on this resume, as we now get into some of the formatting besides the top, very easy and quick. People scan resumes ultra fast. Sometimes in, I'm not joking, like 20 or 30 seconds. So if you don't have things organized in a very quick, easy to read format, that's going to throw off the person reviewing your resume and they're not going to like it, right? So if I want to see, okay, what's my work experience at the first place I worked at? I immediately know, I'm going to scroll down here, boom, right there. And I can easily see the location, all these kind of different things here. You want to have things be organized in a very, very easy to read format. Also, another pro tip I'm going to say, this is actually a a document file type. When you send your resume off, always have it be in PDF. The reason why we've probably all seen this, maybe even some memes about this, that when you're using, like, say, Microsoft Word and you bring like in a picture, it screws the whole thing up. When you bounce out that resume and send it off, whether it's a .doc or .docx or the type of file, when someone opens it up on their computer, sometimes the formatting can get all glitchy from just computer to computer, transferring things, and even if it's not your fault, it somehow ends up being your fault, right? And so when you have a .pdf, and you can very easily do this on programs or Converter Online, it's free to do. When you convert it to a PDF, that kind of formatting, look at it almost like a snapshot is the best way I can word it. That PDF will be a lot easier to read for almost pretty much anybody. So you don't have to worry about formatting issues because you want things to be formatted very seamlessly. So first off, I have education and I have this line going through. My goal is I have different categories to make it a lot easier to read. Now at this point, I will be using different kind of, I'd say font tricks, if I'm going to call it that. Or maybe formatting tricks, I think is a better word. So you can see education. Bold, I have my main college. University of Massachusetts Amherst. Then in italicized, I have my exact thing I was studying. So Bachelor's of Business Administration with concentration in accounting, cumulative GPA, and achievements. That way, right away, I have all these different things right there listed. I will say though, remember, some of this is, it's kind of like, you should follow most of this, but it is also up to you if you want to kind of change certain things. Like none of this is completely set in stone. I'll give you a good example. For all my accountants out there, typically you should have not just graduated date, but let's say you're still in college, you should have, 150 hour completion date for CPA eligibility, and then have the date. All my accountants know what I'm talking about. Another cool one, I'll say, I might as well, is under cumulative GPA. I remember someone told me this. It's kind of a cool story when I was in business school, that someone had GPA and then GPA after freshman year. And I remember the recruiter was like, I'm just kind of curious. I've never seen that. Why did you have GPA after freshman year? And they're like, look, I'm not gonna lie. When I was a freshman, I screwed up. I partied too much. I didn't get any work done, and my GPA suffered pretty bad. And since then, I want to show that I got my act together, and because my freshman year was so bad, when it comes to my GPA, it kind of taints my entire GPA for my college career, which is why I also wanted to show my GPA after freshman year to show how much I've improved and gotten better and gotten back on track. Now that to me is a great story. It shows overcoming certain things, becoming mature, et cetera, et cetera. And so remember that some of these things I'm telling you, although yes, I would definitely follow them, if you want to tweak your resume in such a very unique way, I think that's huge. One thing I always say to people when it comes to resume is don't ask yourself if what you're doing is right or wrong per se, because there are no rules per se when it comes to resume, although I guess to an extent there are. It's more about the fact of this. If you have something on your resume, always ask why. Why do you have that? Like freshman GPA after freshman year. There's a clear reason why they have that, right? And I think thinking about that is very important because anything you have on your resume, sometimes and a lot of time in an interview, will be touched upon. So just keep that in mind. Next, I have here the location, graduation, right? I went to 2 different colleges, by the way. So this is where you want to have all your achievements, your GPA, what you're studying, etc. Now remember, and like I said earlier, I do have this entire template listed below in the description, so you can literally highlight and then type in your thing. You don't even have to worry about, having to create all this from scratch. You could just download that for free and replace everything with your stuff. Now let's get into work experience. Now you can see first off, what I want to do is have each job. So, let's ignore YouTube for now. Let's go to Essential Water. I want to have the place I worked at and my exact job title, and then bullet points. Next on here, I want to have where I work there, right? So you can see all this kind of stuff. So let's touch upon Essential for now, and then we're going to get to all the other nitty-gritty techniques I use. So first off, I have Essential Water, the location, how long I worked there, and then my title, right? Pretty straightforward. Next, I want to have of the things of what I did. You can Google these. They pop up pretty quickly. They're called resume action words. These are powerful, like 10 out of 10, money-making, just hard-hitting words that describe what you did on the job. So as you can see here, demonstrates autonomous work ethic by running and activating promotions single-handedly, utilizes, et cetera, right? And so what this does is it shows all these things of what you did. And I'm also using what's called a feature benefit analysis. Feature benefit analysis means this. Let's say I'm trying to sell you a knife. The feature is it's sharp, but it's kind of like, who cares? The benefit is it can cut quicker. It's safer for you. You don't have to put as much force when it comes to cutting items, et cetera, et cetera. So I did this. So for example, displays professionalism. Professionalism is my benefit, right? That's the benefit. I'm professional. But what is the feature? Why should someone care if I'm professional? Well, I constantly have a positive attitude despite weather and uncontrollable conditions. Part of this job was being out in public, handing out free essential water, right? It's called experiential marketing, also like brand ambassador work and everything. And so this is something I did right before I stopped having real jobs. And so these are kind of a huge thing that I would have almost a 1-2 punch. A lot of times people say, for example, I'm very good with communication skills. And it's like, okay, but what I can do with that is have as I can use that to interact with numerous different clients, right? And so what I try to do is go back and forth between doing things. Next, what I'd say, which I did not do here, ironically, again, my resume is kind of older now and I haven't really used it that much, is use past tense versus future tense. So as you can see here, this is kind of worded as if I'm still working there. So I might have I know I have present up here, but let's say I have this, just show you. So I have this, the present, right? I know it's not formatted, but you get the idea. I demonstrate, I utilize, I display. However, I'm moving this up. I don't know why the cursor annoys me, just blinking while I'm trying to talk. However, say if I go to an older job, so take say when I was a lead promotion manager at North Face, I displayed a strong work ethic. I motivated. So it's past tense versus future tense. This is another thing I'll say. But remember, what you want to do is talk about what you did in terms of the feature of that skill set and then the benefit of that skill set. Talk about skill sets. I know a lot of people sometimes take Deloitte and Touche, when I was an auditor, for example, will sometimes be I worked on 3 clients, or I did this. Don't necessarily talk about what you did per se. This is something a lot of people mess up, is they'll be I don't know, they'll talk about more of what they did on the job. Don't talk about what you did on the job. Talk about the foundational skill set of what you did on the job and how that's an important skill set you can use for future positions, right? So you can see here, I did have to explain that I did get involved in audits to an extent, but you can see here that I didn't say, I audited 2 companies and I got really good at statistics. No. I convey professionalism and integrity to clients while keeping a proper level of professional skepticism, right? Which is part of auditing, right? So I have all these things here that more talk about the foundational stuff and the foundational skills of what I did rather than just what I did per se, right? If that makes sense. Keep this here or whatever. So what you want to do now as well, again, as I'm kind of scrolling around this and showing you, is gaps in your resume. Now, you may notice, for example, I have a work gap from 2013 to 2015, right? I have a work gap. Now, I think in this day and age, I think things have changed a lot in terms of people changing jobs a lot, but sometimes you do want to address that. Someone may say to you, and very much so, hey, you know what? I noticed there's a 1.5 year gap in your resume, which there is in my resume. Tell me about that. I sometimes, and it depends on what you did, again, everyone's situation is different. I sometimes like to put something that here. So for example, this is true. I did a cross-country road trip in year of 2014. I just put personal adventure. And I said this, as you can see here, kind of this little blurb I wrote. As I said, I want to do kind of a personal thing, take some time off, experience the world, experience new cultures. I mostly stay in the United States, but I just travel a lot to pretty much almost every state in the country. It was a phenomenal year, et cetera, et cetera. So this, I think, kind of helps fill in that gap. And remember, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter what you did per se, but it matters the skill sets, the foundational building blocks of what you did, and how you can use that as a positive way for an employer to look at you positively. And I think that's just very important to keep in mind, right? Because it can be very easy for me to put I want to go and party, right? Which wasn't the case. That's not going to come off good, right? So, like I said, although there are some rules per se to having and building a really good resume, they're not always completely set in stone, So now let me go down here. Now you can see we're not going to go, this is a cutoff right there, into a second page. Let's talk about this. Typically when it comes to a resume, you want it to be 1 page. You want it to be 1 page. What I say to a lot of people is if your resume is going to be 2 pages, there better be a really good reason why it's 2 pages. For example, let's say, and I'm making this up, I worked at a grocery store, but not just any grocery store. I worked at 3 or 4 different grocery stores being a cashier. Being honest, I probably remove 3 of those and put only 1. Because it's why would I have all those in a resume? But for me, you can see, ignoring the things like YouTube, for example, experiential marketing with essential water. I think that's good. Lead promotional manager. I was a lead promotional manager. That's another thing I want to talk about. I was a real estate agent. Well, I think that's important to talk about. I was an auditor. I was a bartender and barback. Seems kind of weird, but this allows me to talk about a story where I bought a one-way ticket to Rome. I taught my way into a bar. It's a great story to talk about on a resume. I was a technological sales representative at Staples, right? I was a camp counselor. Then I was a sales representative. So all these different things are highlighting different skill sets that I've gained over the years. But let's say I was also sales representative at 3 other companies. I probably wouldn't put them on my resume because I'm like, I'm kind of being redundant at this point. And like I said, people will scan your resume ultra fast. Next, I'm going to go to activities. Now, activities are things that you do. Do you do intramural basketball? Are you part of a chess club? Are you part of a running club? These are important to put on. Big, big time. And I'll tell you why, because for a lot of people, there's a couple of reasons why. But one is that if let's say you're applying for an accounting job, a computer programming job, whatever the case is, when it comes to activities, it helps set you apart. Being like, okay, there's a lot of other accountants. But this guy does parkour. That's interesting, right? And a lot of times, I look at a resume as one of the first steps to get the interview. And in the interview, as you can imagine, a lot of times you're like, hey, you're qualified. If you're getting the interview, 95% of the time you are qualified for the position. They just want to put like a face to the name. They just want to see what you're about in person and talking and everything. And what activities are very good for is a lot of times in the interview, they don't care. They're not going to ask you like, hey, you do Python. Tell me about your Python. They're like, look, we already know you're qualified. What we want to know is, are you someone who's personable, but also professional? And a lot of times in that interview, they will, I'm not joking, a lot of times just talk about the activities. I've said this example on a couple other videos that one of my friends got a job at the Boston Red Sox because she put, I'm not making this up, as your activity, Call of Duty. And the guy was like, you put Call of Duty as an activity. Why? And she was like, hey, I'm a girl. I do streaming. A lot of times girls don't play Call of Duty. It's something I'm passionate about. And all they did in their interview was talk about Call of Duty. Pretty awesome, right? And so I think the activities, as long as it's something that's very, of course, like not something that's super crude or crass or whatever, as long as it's like just an interesting activity, it helps you stand apart and it gives you very uniqueness to you, right? Again, running club, chess club, if you are part of pretty much anything, definitely put it under activity. And if there's anything that you've done with that activity that can give you even more clout, definitely put it. So as you can see, this is all true. I was selected and performed some work in an MTV music video. This is actually true. I also collaborated and negotiated with Red Bull to participate in a world famous parkour event. That's also true. I utilized effective promoting and leadership skill set to collaborate with Vitamin Water and the WFPF to create the first ever intercollegiate parkour event. These are all true things. These are all things I can talk about that, maybe I'm talking about parkour, which seems kind of random in terms of an interview, but I can talk about all these skill sets I've developed and unique things I've done that kind of highlight myself as a person. Huge for activities. So let's say you're the captain of your chess club and you could talk about things that's happened there. Different ways you can almost use these as like sub things in addition to the jobs that you've had, right? And lastly, skills. Kind of common on a lot of resumes, but I'd organize it like this. As you can see, organize it by categories. So I have computer experience, media, internet marketing, music, and fitness. And all these different things are other skills that, maybe some of them don't relate to the job. Like capoeira, I doubt any accounting firm or computer, they're like, oh, do capoeira? Okay. But they might use that as a cool pro tip. Be like, hey, I've never heard of that word, which I feel like a lot of people haven't. What is capoeira? And then I can talk about capoeira and all this kind of stuff. So these are the different ways that not only can you talk about skills as the skills that you have that will be job applicable, right? Like, of course, any kind of computer experience for almost any job nowadays. But also, you can talk about other skills that you have because you never know. Maybe you're like, hey, we are hiring an accountant, but actually, we have been looking for a video editor, and I saw that you have a skill set in video editing. We actually have been kind of putting together some like recruiting videos for like social media because every company's doing social media now. Let's talk more about that. You never know where that could end you, so where that could bring you or anything. So always put as many skill sets as you have on your resume.